All right, welcome back to The Big Picture. Joining us right now, we have Columbus City Attorney Zach Klein. Thank you for coming back. We love having you.
Well, I love being on.
Okay, so sad news this morning. We know a 15-year-old is dead and a 19-year-old is in critical condition, but we're talking about a shooting that happened yesterday evening, just before 6 p.m. This was off Canopy Place, and this is where the old South Park apartments used to be. They're now the Green Lawn Village apartments. You go way back with this property, all the way back to 2021. Take us to the beginning and when you first this came on your radar as a nuisance property and just a lot of violent acts happening there.
Yeah, so this has been a problem property for the southern part of the Franklinton area. And I'll tell you, my office, since we've been engaged, we, through different ownership groups, by the way, like we have had regular monthly meetings, quarterly meetings with the ownership group and residents. So like not only have we put in safety plans and that these ownership groups have executed in conjunction with the Division of Police, like we're in regular contact with the tenants there, with advocacy groups that work out of there, with the ownership group. So it's very alarming that someone was killed, and obviously it just happened. Police are going to investigate it. But we'll open up a fresh conversation of, is this a one-off incident, something tragic between two people, or is this, something that we need to dive deeper into, maybe change the way that we handle protocols at the apartment complex?
And I mean, looking back to 2023, part of the management company at that time's agreements to start working some of these troubles out were adding additional lighting and cameras and giving Columbus police real-time access into these cameras. And even if this is a one-off instance, does that change this conversation? Also, have they continued to work with the city on cleaning up some of the issues of the past?
They haven't, and I think that's the important part of this, referencing the quarterly and monthly meetings that take place, because the ownership group or representatives thereof and management of the actual apartment complex, they sit down with my team, with police, with refuse, with other city departments and residents, and we go through like what the status of everything is. Now, while this murder is obviously awful, like when you look back, say, over the past 12 months, it's been fairly quiet, given kind of the previous historical activity at South Park.
Yeah, I mean, we have our records. It says CPD, between August 2021 and July of 2022, CPD was called 800 times to that area.
And since 2022, with our involvement, that has declined. And it's unfortunate and terrible to hear that maybe there was a murder, but that's why it's so important, I think, to let police investigate, see what's going on, and then determine, is this an anomaly or do we need to change course? And I think it's too early to tell what that is. But there is a willing partner for the most part on the other side. The police access, the lighting, the security, those are all boxes that the ownership group have checked. And so if there's something we need to add on or something we need to take away, I always keep an open mind, because the safety of the people that live there is going to be my number one priority.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, your nuisance property division is very busy all the time, taking care of these things. And I mean, a lot of the ones that we've seen in recent months have been focused on bars and businesses, but when it comes to maybe that be apartment management, the difference of that, I mean, obviously you're talking about people, a number of people's lives instead of just maybe a business. That throws an extra complexity into that situation.
Well, I think, first of all, to give my team credit, we've filed a record number of nuisance elimination lawsuits since I've been city attorney. Like every year we my team hits the ground running, working with police and community leaders to define and identify problem properties in neighborhoods and shut them down. I don't want to oversimplify the work, but I will say that it's one thing to build a case against a residential unit or a single commercial unit business versus an entire multi-acre apartment complex where hundreds and hundreds of people live. Because in a tight housing market, we can help relocate individuals that may be involved in, say, a nuisance property, maybe victims that live there, hold the perpetrators accountable, make sure they go to jail. But those are one-off cases that could involve less than a dozen people. Still complicated in a tight housing market. The sheer reality is, though, you can't really relocate 1,000 people in a tight housing market. So you have to figure out, how can we take the resources we have and make it safe for the people that live there. Now, we have had to relocate people in these large apartment complexes like Sawyer Towers, for example, because living there literally was dangerous to their lives, just given the structural problems that were there.
Okay, let's go to the other news that came out this week. A federal judge struck down the Trump administration's attempts to undermine the Affordable Care Act by jacking up costs and limiting coverages. So we know the city of Columbus was a part of that lawsuit. For someone who doesn't follow these federal court cases, what does this ruling actually mean for, these people that get their health insurance through the Affordable Care Act?
Well, it means that we're going to try to do our part to keep their premiums down. I mean, obviously the subsidies went away. There's a lot of people in Ohio that are no longer taking advantage of the Affordable Care Act because Republicans in Congress and President Trump let the subsidies go away. That jacked up their insurance premiums automatically, and they no longer could afford to take advantage of insurance. And now we have, millions of people in the state of Ohio that now lack insurance. But we do our part in these cases by ensuring that the folks that are still on the rolls, their premiums aren't even going up anymore. This is our third case since I've been city attorney. It started back in the first Trump administration on the Affordable Care Act. And the through line and theme that the three cases have involved is this intentional sabotage of the Trump administration on the Affordable Care Act. I mean, you go back to the 2016 to 2020, that repeal and replace, the 50 or 60 votes that Congress has taken to repeal and replace that failed. It has been Donald Trump's mission to undermine the insurance market and kick people off the Affordable Care Act and try to tank it. My job as a city attorney in this instance is to protect the Affordable Care Act so that people can have good quality health insurance.
Mm-hmm. Some people may wonder why, the city attorney is involved with the federal government in this case. Break that down.
Well, there's people in the city of Columbus that take advantage of healthcare through the Affordable Care Act. And at a time when people are rightfully pinching pennies and they can't, the cost of living is increasing, the one thing that we can touch upon in this instance is healthcare. Like, what can I do as a city attorney to try to at least keep healthcare costs stable so that they're not increasing like the cost of food? There's not increasing like the cost of gasoline, the cost of your rent. So if I have a role to play to make it cheaper or to stabilize prices for the people that live in the city of Columbus, I want to do my part. And at the end of the day, when all of the important issues that we deal with, healthcare is in front and center, because how can we ask people to get a job or provide for their family or be the moms or dads they want to be, get an education, get retrained, whatever it is, if you're sick, if you're bedridden, if you're ill, and you can't go get healthcare in order to cure that illness than to become a productive citizen. We got to have good quality healthcare so people can reach their maximal potential.
And as you mentioned, this is just one of a number of lawsuits filed against the administration, and each one of these costs money. Is this a worthwhile financial investment for the city to pursue?
Well, the good news is, outside of the literal salaries of the people that work for me, there's no city taxpayer dollars involved. We partner with third-party, not-for-profit law firms across the country that co-counsel these cases with us, and they pay all the cost of the litigation. So yes, taxpayer money is involved to the extent that I have people that work for me that do these lawsuits, but we do, like, filing fees, expert witnesses, cost of litigation, that's all paid for by somebody else. So this really costs the city taxpayers nothing. And out of it, we get wins in the Affordable Care Act to stabilize healthcare premiums, but we also get wins in the federal grant area where you got tens of millions of dollars that are coming to the city of Columbus that the Trump administration has tried to turn off for various reasons. And that's money that, for police and fire, that's money for victim advocates and domestic violence, that's money for infectious disease outbreak. And we've seen with the lettuce issues that we have, there's plenty of infectious diseases that are rolling out there. So all of that comes like real federal money, meaning real programs and people that help the citizens. Trump administration's trying to turn that off. We're fighting it and we're winning so that money flows to the city that's rightfully owned.
So what's next? Do you think the Trump administration's going to appeal this?
I have no doubt that they probably will, and we'll be there to fight every step of the way.
So will Ohioans see any immediate impact from this right now?
Well, I think they'll see immediate impact in this to the extent that the rules that they were proposing that would jack up the premiums are stayed. They can't put them into place. So there's a little bit of reprieve. But as this case proceeds, I'll keep you posted.
Okay. Zach, thank you so much for coming on.
No, I always appreciate it.
All right.